But the people who know their God, will firmly resist him or be strong and do great exploits. So when people understand, when people know God, then they become a different type of person. So we're focusing today on knowing God. Next week, we're going to focus on being strong. And the week after that, for Audacity Sunday, it's going to be all about exploits. It's all going to be about launching us into that place. And the next Sunday, we'll have great teaching that gets us through this month. So the original plan of God in Genesis 1:26, it's important that we remember this. Then God said, let us make man in our image and according to our likeness, and let them have dominion over the fish of the sea. Let them have dominion over the birds of the air. Let them have dominion over the cattle. Let them have dominion over the earth and everything that creeps on the earth. Say let. Okay, keep that word at the top of your notes. Let them. Okay, so Isaiah 55:11, when we start talking about God's will, you got that word let at the top of your notes? Let's talk about God's will for a moment. Isaiah 55:11 says, so shall my word be that goes from my mouth. It shall not return to me void, but it shall accomplish what I please. And it shall prosper in the thing for which I sent it. So God says now when I speak something, when I want something done, I speak it. And whatever I speak, my word, it goes out from my mouth, and it does not return to me until it has accomplished what I said it would accomplish. So God is serious about his word. So what he wants, when he speaks it, it does not come back to him, but it accomplishes what he wanted in my life or in the world. And there are words or the will of God still out there that haven't come back to him. They're still void. He's waiting for those words that he spoke over the earth. Let man have dominion. He's waiting for those words to come back to him, having accomplished what he pleased, because he spoke it. Still with me? In your notes, put Ephesians 1:11. In him also we have obtained an inheritance, being predestined according to the purpose of him who works all things according to the counsel of his will. Everything operates to the counsel of his will. That we who first trusted in Christ should be the praise of his glory. So God has a will and he has a counsel. God's counsel is simple. God's counsel is him, himself, and himself. He has had a conference when he's talked to himself. And whenever he says something, that's the counsel of his will. And the will of God is established. Everything works. All things work according to the counsel of his will. Say that. All things work according to the counsel. Okay, stick with me, right? Thus God is Hebrews 6:17. Thus God determining to show more abundantly to his heirs of promise the immutability of his counsel. Immutability of his counsel. His counsel cannot be argued. He cannot be counseled. No one can give him advice. No one can challenge God. Nobody can bring God into their office and give him a pink slip. Nobody can educate God. No one, nowhere, no God, no person, no council, not even a bunch of men in robes can tell God, we don't like that rule, so we're going to change it. You just can't do that. That's not how it works. You can't bring a gavel down and change God's counsel. You can't take stuff off and put stuff on and change God's counsel. It's his counsel. He's God. Now, you can't make God like you so you can feel good living. He's trying to make us like him. Okay? So his counsel, his promise is inimmutable of his counsel, confirmed it by an oath, verse 18, that by two immutable things in which it is say it is impossible for what? Say it again. It's not that God is even tempted to lie. He can't even be tempted to lie because he doesn't have the ability. He doesn't have it. You and I have the ability. He doesn't have the ability to lie. So that we might be strong, have strong consolation, who have fled from refuge to lay hold of the hope set before us. A couple more scriptures for you. I want you to remember that word let. God's counsel, everything operates according to his counsel. Everything operates according to his will, and God cannot lie. There are many plans, read it with me. There are many plans in a man's heart. Nevertheless, tell the person next to you, sugar baby, you got a lot of plans. You got a lot of stuff you praying, asking God for, because you think you want it. You think you need it, sugar lump. You think it's God's will for you, baby doll. But you can't pray something he hasn't planned. So there are many plans in my heart, but it's going to be his counsel that stands. It's going to be the Lord's will in my life that stands. So I need to be intent in finding his will. And I can't find his will just coming to church and clapping for an hour. There's a lot of things that happens in Pastor Nell's in my life. And people say, wow, God has blessed you. And we don't clap. We're not happy about it. We're like, yes. Because you don't know how we pray. You don't understand that we spend a lot of time every week in God's face and in agreement, and sometimes arguing and discussing and fussing till we agree. Because we know that as long as we're married, I'm going to teach you that, as long as we are married, we have to agree. We're not going to get anywhere if we don't agree. So it's worth, and sometimes even before we were here, in that time 19 years ago, when we were contemplating, do we even belong together? We took time off work. We were broke. We took time off work and stayed at home. Fasting was easy because we didn't have food. And we prayed. Lord, what is going on? What are you doing with us? We got to come together in agreement. Lord, if you don't help us with this, we're praying on opposite sides of the bed. And ever since then, we pray together and agree. This is the agreement. And whenever we don't agree, oh Lord, there's always going to be issues when we don't agree. Always going to be issues when we don't agree. So we have to keep our family in agreement. And please don't be the lesser point of agreement in the family. Don't dumb everybody down to you. Well, we got to agree. Pastor Martin said we agree. We have to agree. Well, honey, all you want to eat is peanut butter. The rest of the family, we want to. Pastor Martin said agree. Okay, so we'll agree to just eat peanut butter. No, that's dumb. Okay, there are many plans in a man's heart. Nevertheless, it's God's counsel that will stand. Watch this. Read it out loud. Remember this and show yourselves men. Recall to mind, O ye transgressors. Come on. Remember the former things of old. For I am God and there is no other. Come on. I am God and there is no one like me. How? Declaring the end from the beginning. Come on. And from ancient times, things are not yet done, saying, and God is not going to do my pleasure or your pleasure. He's going to do his pleasure in our life. He's not going to do in your life what brings you pleasure. He's going to do in your life what brings him pleasure. So tell honey baby sugar pie next to you, you might as well just come to the pleasure of the Lord. You might as well just settle this and just be pleasured in God's pleasure for you. You might as well be happy with what makes God happy about your life. Just go ahead and get happy. Come on, get happy. You might as well just get happy. Because God, you're not going to be able to talk him. You can't even fast him into doing what you want. I'm going to fast so I can move God. No. Okay. You can't move him. You can't turn. God doesn't eat. You won't be able to move him from his position because his word always stands, never changes. So here's the law of let. He said, let them. Let is God's counsel. Let is God's will. Let is God's intent. Let is what God wanted. Let is what he spoke. Let is what God ordained. So in order to go back on let, he would have to become a liar. He would have to change his will. He would have to change his counsel. That's why why didn't God stop Eve from eating? Why didn't he stop Adam from eating? Because he had already said, let. Let them have dominion. He couldn't interfere. If one of them had said, if Adam had done what we do today, honey, let's join hands at the table, let's pray. Lord, bless this meal that we're about to receive. The Lord said, what meal? Well, this kumquat, this apple, this watermelon, this pomegranate, whatever it is. And God would have said, don't eat it. And Adam could have taken the apple back, put it at the trunk of the tree, and said, you stay right here. Baby doll Eve, we moving. We going to move away from this tree so it doesn't tempt us. So his word let's talk about it. Forever, O Lord, your word is settled in heaven. I'm getting somewhere. Psalm 138:2. I will worship toward your holy temple and praise your name for your loving kindness and your truth. For you have done what? What has he done? What does that mean? Talk to me. What does that mean? He's made his word. He's made his word more important than his name. He's made a law out of his word. If you can ever get God to speak to you, it becomes law. I know, okay. If you can ever get God to speak to you in prayer, it becomes law the minute he talks to you. Now his word to you is more important than his name. The king John the Baptist was fussing because a man wanted someone other than he wanted his brother's wife. And John the Baptist says, you can't have her. So the woman who wanted to marry the king, Herod, she had her daughter dance in front of the king. And the king said, wow, that was spectacular. Ask me for anything in my kingdom, and I will give it to you. So she asked the king for the head of John the Baptist. He didn't want to kill John. So he said these words, I'm the king. I've given my word. Bring John the Baptist's head on a platter into the party. Because he was king, he had to honor his word. And that's an earthly king. Once the heavenly king speaks to you, it becomes law, and now he's obligated to bring it to pass. His word obligates him. Because he's magnified his word even above his name. My father couldn't write. My father didn't talk well, but he could add in his head. He signed an X. But everywhere I went as a little boy, they would say, when I go to buy something, when I go to do something, I just said, I'm Jay Williams' boy. They said, you Jay Williams' boy? Yes. Give him what he wants. Give him what he wants. Now, boy, you take that home. It was my Father's honor of his word. I'll pay you next week. And his word brought honor to his name. So God's word brings honor to his name. So this word let, he says, I've said that I'm going to let you rule the earth. Let. And I can't go back on my word. Listen to me now. So God is submitted to his own word. Write it down. And his word literally means this. Man is the legal, responsible steward spirit of planet Earth. Man is the legal, responsible steward spirit of planet Earth. Any other spirit trying to lead planet Earth is illegal. Stick with me. Man is the only legal, responsible. We're legal, we're responsible, but we're stewards, and we have a spirit inside of us. We're the leaders because he can't go back on his word. So we're not going to be praying ignorant prayers over the next 3 weeks that say, Lord, go to the hospital. He's like, when you go, I'm going. John Wesley said, without God, man can't. And without man, God won't. So it's this communion between us and God that makes the difference. If God has a will for my life, my family's life, and the earth, how do I get to know that? I can't just get it all the time reading the Bible. Because the Bible has lots of stuff in it that I don't understand. It's out of date and time and context and culture. So I don't really grasp it all the time in my everyday life. And because I can spend 10 hours a week just reading, and another 10 studying so I can talk to you. I have another world that you don't live in, and I don't even get it most of the time. So I've got to have something that boosts my recognition of God's will in my life. I have to have something that turns me on, something that connects me to him. Right? Okay, here we go. So now, I made this one up years ago. The secrets of the Lord are for those who stay in touch. I said, stay in touch. God starts to give secrets. Please, if you've started fasting already, right? Here in just a few minutes, about lunchtime, your stomach may start to growl, right? And if you haven't been eating in a while, you might be tempted to go to sleep. I'm giving your neighbor permission to just touch you. Now don't some people, when you wake them up, LaRon, you wake them up and they wake up fighting, right? They want to hit people, punch people, so you just have to be careful, right? So if you don't want your neighbor touching you, stay awake. If we want to know his secrets, we have to stay in touch. And prayer is the most boring subject in the church. And it's also the most misunderstood. Dr. Monroe's book on prayer, his teachings on prayer on YouTube, you need to plug into those because he explains so well what prayer is and how it works. So what is prayer? What is it? Prayer is man connecting with heaven. It's intentional. Prayer is man connecting with heaven for the king's plans, direction, and his will. It's like somebody checking in for work on Monday morning, and they have a supervisor, or they have a notebook on things to do today. And they check in with those plans so that they know exactly what they're supposed to be doing. In the same way, we have to check in with God because we don't know what the heck we're doing. So we have to be in contact with him so we know what his will is for our lives. Prayer is man giving the king license and permission to interfere and engage earth with his mind through the person praying. Listen to me now. Prayer is not us coming to God to have him do something. God, I'm coming to you so that you'll do something about this. No. Prayer is coming to God and finding out what he wants done and now yielding yourself as an answer to God's prayer. As an answer to what he wants. As an answer to what he wants on your job and in your family and whatever your hobbies are. Prayer is seeking him about his will. And once we have his will, we exercise it, we execute it, we launch it, we do it, we involve ourselves with God. We have to stop beating our heads against the wall trying to build a business God never told us to build. Trying to get a degree God told us not, he didn't tell us to get that degree. Trying to do this, God never told us to do that. You're going to be better. The safest place for you is in the will of God. And you can't get that from me. People tell me all the time, pray for me, Pastor, so you can get God's will. And I can tell when you come from one of them religious churches that keep training these followers. You're not a follower. You don't need no pastor, no bishop, no pope to tell you the will of God. My job is to bring you to God and make sure you stay there. Once God starts talking to you, all I'm doing is confirming. You're hearing from God. And now your friends and your family have a plan for you. And their plan for you is to keep them comfortable, not you. They want you to do stuff that keeps them comfortable. I'm fasting, so, they want you to get that degree because it makes them happy, makes them feel good. Listen, you're not here to make nobody feel good. God created you before you were in your mother's womb, and he gave you a plan. And you teach your children early how to pray in tongues. So when they're in the classroom and they can't get this subject right, they can under their breath. At 2 years old, teach them how to pray in tongues. Your children came to the earth speaking in tongues. You had to teach them English. Da, 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 ba, da, ba, ba, da, ba. That's how they came. We called it Babel because we didn't understand it. How many of you, both my kids, how many of you have kids, they be da, ba, da, and looking up in the ceiling. I'm like, what y'all looking at? Get down on the floor and look up with them. What y'all see? They come connected with heaven. We have to teach them not to. Do you notice your kids were not apprehensive until they got in middle school? They did what they liked. They dressed the way they liked. They did their own hair. Oh, no, Mom, I like it like this. They got in middle school and started caring what other people cared about, started thinking about what other people said. Bullying, there was no bullying in elementary school. They just went on about their business. I don't like your hair. Okay, fine, let's go to the merry-go-round. Didn't make no difference. We had to teach people how to care about what other people care about. And those days, if we're going to do exploits, we've got to get in touch with God for ourselves. We need firewire, wireless. We need connection with him with no interference. So when I pray, as soon as I open my mouth, I'm giving God permission to come into my situation. Because otherwise, because I'm in charge on the earth, he's not. Oh, you can't handle that, can you? He said, let them have dominion. He can't lie. I have dominion on the earth. Anything going wrong on the planet, I did it. It's my fault. And if I want it fixed, I've got to go to him and ask him how to fix it. I need interference. Okay, so watch this. You can quote it, can't you? Any of us who grew up in church, we could quote this and preach it for an hour. If my people, if possibility and choice. Possibility and choice. If my people who are called by my name would humble themselves and pray, seek my will, not my hands, my face, turn from what's wicked, then and only then will I hear from 666 Heavenly Lane. No, I'm not going to hear from earth if I pray. I'm going to hear from heaven if I pray. You don't think heaven knows how to build a business. But business was heaven's idea. You're not sure that God can help you learn how to teach science. But science was God's idea. You don't think God can give you an idea that helps you become a better athlete. But athleticism and health was God's idea. So when you pray, you're getting heaven's answers to earth's problems. My question to you is, if we pray, seek his face and turn from our wicked ways, hears from heaven and he heals our land, what happens if we don't pray? The land is sick. Your college classroom is sick. Your school is sick. Your place of business is sick. The hospitals are sick. Industries are sick. Football teams are sick. Sickness is everywhere because we need to hear from heaven. I don't need your little advice, your 3 steps, your 12 steps to make my life better. I don't need all that. I don't need it. Here, Pastor Martin, Tony Robbins is in town. I said, I came here to hear Dr. Monroe, but Tony Robbins is in town. I said, bump Tony Robbins. I don't want nobody standing up there, don't acknowledge God, ain't got nothing to say about God, and don't go tell me, here are my 4 steps. I don't need your 4 steps. If I was dumb and blind, all I have to do is pray in tongues and get God's answer. Excuse me. I'm a spirit. And I want a spirit to speak to me. Motivate you. It's impossible to motivate a person. Pastor Martin, we want to invite you. We heard you talk today. We have a motivational speaking circuit. We want to make you one of our motivational speakers on our team. It paid good, too. You won't even have to miss church services. Your church is not tapping into your real potential, they said. They were right. They were right. We want to put you in a venue where people come and do what the speaker says. Churches aren't trained like that. I said, how much does it pay? Well, you can make, I said, what? For how long? Well, about 35, 40 minutes. What? I said, okay, I got excited. I said, what does it mean? What can I say? How does it work? Well, you know, we know you love Jesus. We know you're a pastor, but we don't want you to talk about that. We don't want you to bring up Jesus. We want you to talk about, the Creator. And I said, oh, heck no. I said, no, you can take that, get that to somebody else. I'll make my money some other way. If I'm going to be here, I'm going to lead people to the only way they can really get help. So, I know it. Thank you. I'll forgive your sin. I'll forgive your sin. If you pray, humble yourself, turn from wickedness, I'll hear from heaven, I'll forgive your sin, but I'll use you to heal the land. I'll forgive your sin, and I will heal the land through you. Tell your neighbor you can get a whole lot more done in prayer. Jeremiah 10:23. Read it with me. Oh Lord, I know the way. Is it up? Read it. Oh Lord, I know the way of man is not in himself. Come on, read. It is not in man who walks. I'm sorry. I know you're smart. I know you're brilliant. But you're as dumb as hell. Now help me out. For those of y'all who don't understand the difference between hell and hell, I'm going to tell you the difference between hell and hell. One is a curse. The other is an acknowledgement of where it comes from. And ignorance comes from hell. And when you start thinking you can lead your own life, you know what's best for you, you know where you're headed, you are dumb as hell. How many of you got a lot of friends that say I all the time? I mean, talk to me for real. They say I all the time. In the next 21 days, don't hang around I people. Because it's really about them. And they think they're smart. Okay, in day 14 of your fast, you're going to come out the door and go to work. You're going to text your friend or get a text from somebody, Facebook, Messenger, or something, and you're going to see them for real. You're going to be like, ooh, wee. Whoa, I didn't see that. Lord Jesus, she always talk about herself. When was the last time your girlfriend or your boy you hang out with asked you about you? How you doing? They don't do that. You cannot direct your own steps. Why? Because it's not in you. He didn't wire you to know your own steps. He didn't put that capability in you. I know a lot of smart people who are not wise. The book by Henry Ford. Henry Ford said it too. He just said it different. He knows a lot of wise people. He knows a lot of smart people, but they're not wise. So he hired smart people. Because without a high school and college diploma, he was the wise one. Smart people can make some really. Now y'all cussing. Y'all call somebody dumb. smart people can make some of the most. I mean, and you look at them and you're like, what were you thinking? We love to watch because we love working with Special Olympics. We love to watch the show, I Was Born This Way. And children who people say are suffering with Down syndrome. I don't think they're suffering. Brilliant people. And you have people on the show who said, I don't think I would do that. And that's wisdom speaking. I don't think I would do that. Yes, I'm going to do it. It's what I want to do. It's what I feel good about doing. No, I don't think you want the reward. I don't think you want the tree and the fruit of that seed you're getting ready to plant. Because smart people don't always see that what they're planting is going to germinate, grow into a tree, and give them fruit that they have to eat from. Because, okay, see, they keep telling you fruit doesn't fall very far from the tree. Listen, these idioms don't work. You need to see it this way. You're going to live your whole life around the tree you plant. You're not going to plant a tree and you don't like it, now you're going to move. No, you live around the tree you plant. So when they said the fruit doesn't fall very far from the tree, okay, I think I get that. But what you have to understand is you have to be careful with what seeds you plant. Because whatever seeds you plant become your forest. And you can't live in my forest now. Then he spoke a parable to them that men always ought to pray and not faint or lose heart. How should we pray? Always. Say it. Always. Always. When this is over, your lifestyle is going to be prayer. You're going to pray while you're teaching students. You're going to pray while you're driving. You're going to be praying all the time, seeking and connecting with God, your inner man, feeding on him constantly during the day. Then he spoke a parable to them that men always ought to pray and not lose heart. Ephesians 6:17. And take this helmet of salvation, the sword of the Spirit, which is the word of God, praying always with all types of prayers and supplication in the Spirit, being watchful to this end with all perseverance and supplication for all the saints. I want you to hear the word today. Rejoice always, pray without ceasing. Pray without ceasing, and in everything give thanks, for this is the will of God concerning you, that you pray without ceasing. This is the will, counsel. This is God's counsel and will for you, that you pray all the time. This is his will for you to pray and be in touch with him all the time. This is exciting to me. I love praying. I love asking God. It's every time it happens, I will study and I'll prepare a sermon. And then I'll get finished and I'll say, God, now, what do you want them to hear? You ask, why don't I do that beforehand? Because I'm supposed to study to show myself approved. I'm supposed to prepare. But before I come out here, I ask him, do you want them to hear this? Sometimes he says yes. Sometimes he says no. Sometimes my wife will knock on my door and say, Martin, are you sure you're supposed to say that? Woman, get out of my office. But she's right a lot of times. It's like I'm convicted in my heart. There's something else God wants to say. And sometimes I'll walk down the hallway and sit up here and I don't have a scripture. I don't have nothing to say. And I done studied 40 hours that week. But he has something else that he wants to do or something else he wants to say. And we have to learn to trust him. So prayer now builds my intimacy with God. Prayer brings honor to him because I'm doing what he said. Prayer causes me to walk in integrity. Why did I put that one up there? Because when I start to pray and the Spirit of God connects with me, a spirit of conviction comes on me. When I start to pray, I can see immediately, you know, Martin, you shouldn't have been doing that. You shouldn't have said that. It brings integrity. When I get up off my knees, like after you're done fasting, you're going to have to talk your body into chocolate cake. When you pick up that first pop, we call it pop. What you call it? Soda water? Pop. Okay, when you pick up that first Coke or Pepsi, ooh, brand names. When you pick up that first phosphated drink, the first day in February to eat, your body's going to say, oh, that burns. That hurts. When you go back and pick up your cigarette again, no. When you pick it up, your body's going to say, your body's going to say, why are you killing me? In the Schmiegel voice. Prayer brings. I would get Josh to say it on the mic. We just crack up. Josh was a little boy. He would just talk like Schmiegel. It's like, how you do that? Prayer brings honor to him. Prayer causes me to walk in integrity. Prayer builds my faith in him. Prayer makes me rely on him. When I put my business, my family, when I put my spiritual life, my children, when I put what's important to me in God's hands, and now I'm praying about it, it builds faith in me to make steps I would not normally take. Because now my dependence is not on me. My dependence, if God told me something, his intent is to make it happen. His only X factor that X's it out is me. It's not him anymore. It's not other people. Well, they don't believe in me. They never needed to. People never needed to believe in you. We hang out with, I love people who believe in themselves. That's who I hang out with. When you don't believe in yourself, I call it ministry. Now, I don't want to take a vacation with ministry. I don't take ministry with me to the beach. I don't take ministry with me when I'm dating my girl. I don't want to minister. If I want to be, I want to be with somebody equal who love themselves, believe in themselves. Pastor, let me take you out to dinner on Thursday night. No, that's my date night. I'm not going out to counsel you at the dinner table. Well, me and my family, my wife, we need counseling. I'm not a counselor. And I don't counsel over steak. I got a $50 meal here, and your sugar lump over there crying. How am I going to enjoy this meal with her crying? And my wife going to be looking at me saying, this is our date night. Now you're doing ministry. Okay, you don't either. You don't want to be with people all the time, and they just got this stuff going on. There's always something, and you be like, dang, now they mad at you because you don't want to hang out. I don't know what to say. You just start lying like a good Christian. You know, I just had something else to do. The kids had a, parent-teacher meeting. At 9 at night, the teacher wanted to be, you're just like, what? When I'm going to eat dinner and it's me and her and another couple, I want to be sawing on the steak and somebody across the table while I'm eating saying, God told us to do something and it worked. I mean, God is so working in our life. And I'm like, tell me about it. Tell me how God's working. I want to know how God's working in your life. Excuse me. But God is doing something. I want to hear that. Well, Pastor, you don't like to hang out with people. No, I don't. Because your lack of intimacy shows up when you're around spiritual people. No. There have been times we have been invited out and we would go. We didn't enjoy our meal. We put it in a bag, put it in the car. Just put it in the trunk. It's a meal we want to forget. Oh, no, I shouldn't be talking about this. And I will look at her, she'll look at me, and I know what the look is. We go to another restaurant on the way home just to sit and look at one another and have some time together. Tell your neighbor, pull yourself together, sugar lump. Come on now. 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 You can't put your faith in people. They will leave you. They will talk about you behind your back, and they will betray you. And now every time somebody betrays you, you take this step back in your life, get depressed, and now you got to take some pills to go to sleep and have somebody encourage you all the time. Listen, they're going to let you down. Cut the umbilical cord to people, build an umbilical cord to God. Well, Pastor, I'm leaving. God bless you. I love you. Let's move on. Well, I don't want to be a part of you or what you're doing. I understand, baby. But that has nothing to do. Now, don't think just because you leave me that I'm going to go back into depression for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 days. Ain't going to happen. I'm going to keep my eyes on God because I have never prayed to you. I ain't never started one of my prayers. Oh, Heavenly Bob, I seek you now. No, I ain't never sought you for nothing. And if I turn the page back in my life, I'd help you more than you help me. Hey! Give your neighbor a high five and say, I'm tired of helping you so much. It's time for some bold moves. It's time for me to be alone sometimes. It's time for me to be lonely. It's time for me to feel rejected by some people, because it's only then can God really use me. Shout it with me. God never calls a crowd. No, baby, he ain't calling no crowd. He ain't come to look for no committee. He ain't come to look for no team. He's coming to look for you. He's been chasing you all your life. He's been after you all your life. And in this season, he's coming after you. Give the Lord a shout and sit down on your seat. Okay, watch this. Is that clock right? Watch me now. I'm not real bothered when certain people leave my life. By the way, the church is not my life. I don't take it personally when you leave the church. But I don't take it personally when people leave my life. I don't get real excited. I don't get bent out of shape, and I've taught my family to do the same. I get concerned when the people I need to leave my life won't leave. Now that's when I'm like, I get nervous. Like, why won't this person? I know they don't like me. What do they want? Put my face on the screen. Somebody back there without glasses, they can't see me. Switch it over. They don't have the glasses. They can't see my face. Put my face on all the screens. Yep. Look, listen to me now. No, I'm serious. Listen to me. Okay, I can't say that. I'll say this. Mm-hmm. You can be praying and God won't talk to you until certain people leave. You need Bible. The Bible says, after Abraham excused Lot, God visited him. Abraham had to wait 7, 10 years. Hadn't heard a word from God. As soon as he said, Lot is like, okay, I'll leave you, but give me the best land. Abraham said, go take it. Give me the land next to the water. Go take it. Give me the best. Just go take it. Give me the desert, Abraham said. Because if I got God, he turns deserts into springs. I ain't got no problem. Lot walked away, and God said, let me show you what I'm getting ready to do. Don't be concerned about people. They're just humans. I'm just a human. Don't build nothing on people. Listen to me, married couples. Don't build nothing on your spouse. Don't give your spouse what should be given to God. Because your spouse is human. And as sure as you get married, somebody gonna mess up. That's why you have to be listening to the Lord. Because if you're listening to you, well, I ain't turned on no more. I don't even want to have sex with him no more. I don't even like to be with him in the house. I guess that means divorce. Dummy, you dumb as hell. That doesn't mean divorce. Hell is where it comes from. I ain't bothered about y'all. I ain't worried about y'all at all. It doesn't mean it's time for divorce. You're not thinking right. You're thinking with the wrong brain. You got to plug into God and say, God, what's going on in my marriage? What are you trying to do in my marriage? What's your purpose for our marriage? What's your dream for our marriage? How do we get past this? Who can give us advice? Is there a spirit in our marriage? Am I wrong? It affirms his purpose for you in the world. Prayer. Prayer makes you aware of his promises. You don't even know what he's promised you until you pray. Prayer, it prepares you to do his will. That's what prayer does. So watch this. As for me, I will call on God, and the Lord shall save me. Evening and morning, even in morning, David said, what did he say? Evening and morning and at noon I will pray. 3 times a day, I'm just going to steal away for 2, 3 minutes, 5 minutes, and just say, Lord, I'm just seeking you. I thank you for my day. I thank you for the opportunity to be living on the earth. Lord, what's your will for my life? How should I be living my life? Who are my friends? Who are my confidants? Who are the people I look up to? Who gives me advice? Who should I trust? What should I be doing in this business? Who should I marry? Don't marry that girl. Anybody that gets married in this church, and you can go down the street to Lucy Goosey's church if you want. If you're going to get married in this church and all of you rogue elders out there marrying people and it doesn't come through me, creating these families that eventually have trouble and they bring them back here because they didn't have counseling, stop it. I'm sorry, I haven't eaten in a while. What was I saying? Anybody that gets married in this church, you will do a lot of things we've talked about before, but from now on, I'm going to make the brother fast for 21 days. And I mean water. Mike is like, glad I missed all that one, Pastor. Water. For 21 days, brother. Nothing but water. Get on your face before God. Pray in tongues. Seek the Lord. Get wise counsel from him. Not just marriage counseling. You, brother, you need to go before the Lord because you're going to become the foundation for that house. And our girls from 6 to 76, they're too beautiful, they're too fine, they're too smart, they have too much destiny for us to hand them over to a God that doesn't have a plan. I know y'all be glad when I eat. If you pray, I'll show you things. Is that the time? If you pray, I'm going to answer you. Then I'm going to open your understanding and show you great and mighty things that you would not know if you had not prayed. Your company's going through something and you're a leader in that company. They're struggling with some things. You hear about them in the hallway, at the water fountain, at the coffee place, coffee station, or whatever it is. You hear it in the you hear it in board meetings. They need answers. Well, you fast and pray and ask God to give you the answer. Having problems in education in our city, maybe God will give you the answer. Someone's sick and they're ill and no one has a cure for it. Maybe you should pray and ask God to give you an answer to it. A computer program that solves lots of problems. A computer program that can tell when Muslims are getting ready to kill somebody. Shoot, not just Muslims. People everywhere, all kinds of just killing people. Y'all better be glad them ain't black people up in that federal building, though. If them black people up in there, they blow that building up. Well, we want to negotiate with you. Okay, I'm going to leave that alone. The highest wisdom. Bishop Strong told me this while we were studying together. Y'all okay with me? It's okay if you're not. Read it with me. The highest wisdom is finding. Read it. The highest wisdom is finding the. Come on, read it loud. The highest wisdom is. Keep reading now. There is also no higher joy. There's no higher desire in your life than to know the will of God. And you can't know it. You can't know it unless you pray. I'm not going to use that one. I got to go. Ooh. Oh, can't use that one. Oh, man. Okay. Let me end with this. Jehoshaphat was surrounded by Moab, Mount Seir, and all the enemies of the east. They came against him, and they surrounded him in Jerusalem, just like some of your lives are surrounded now by enemies. They're everywhere. You can't get them out. You got bug spray. You done called the exterminator. You brought the priest over. You tried to cast it, and you're just surrounded by them. They were surrounded by them. So this is what Judah did. Judah said, hey, listen, let's gather together and do what? Let's ask help from the Lord. Let's do what? Let's ask for help from the Lord. And so from all the cities of Judah, they came to seek the Lord. They didn't come to put together a strategy against their enemy. They didn't come to complain about their enemy. They came to seek the Lord. That's what you need to do. Now I got to skip down because I got to skip down. Okay, so then Jehoshaphat, watch now. Jehoshaphat stood in the assembly of Judah. He's standing in the nation. And he says, before the new court, and he said, O Lord God of our fathers. He connected them to their history. You've done this before. Are you not God in heaven? He's saying, we understand you're not God on the earth. You're not in charge of what's happening here.